I'm glad you reminded me. Okay, let me go back here, put that back up. All right, come on now. What is this thing doing? Okay, there we go. Okay, so if you were looking at this picture here, I can't, sorry, I can't. Wait, yes, maybe I can. Hold on. Okay. If you were looking at this picture here, um, and I'm not going to tell you the order or anything, tell me what do you see?
Well, it seemed like a person that's I don't know. He's at rest, right? He's
Mhm.
seems to be like in a deep sleep or dreaming. There's no blackbirds around, so it ain't nothing but death. I don't see no crows around,
I
so
know where you was going with that.
it's he probably looked like he's got it. You know, he's got everything that he needs, and he's thinking on his wealth or something. I don't know, or
Well,
something
and
like that. But
what in
Okay.
each one of the pictures, there's
mhm,
birds. So
yes,
I'm seeing him with his eyes closed. Look at with the all of the birds that he's smiling.
hmm
In that one. The other one, he's probably still smiling too. So I'm thinking he's having a vision there, some type of
yeah,
vision, and as a dream, and it's concerning something really, really, I guess amusing or something very interesting that keeps his attention in his dream. It didn't wake him up, you know.
Mhm,
hmm
So
mhm.
I see that's what I see, and it has to do not just to see a bird, not to the birds
right.
are something flying high, is something that
hmm
he's increasing, elevating in that dream or
That's his
whatever.
thoughts. Exactly. I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I see. That's what I
hmm
see.
Because
Mr.
the
Collins?
first picture is like
Oh,
a cloud, right?
I didn't
mhm.
hear you. What you said?
The first picture is like a cloud with the
Yeah,
birds
to
in it.
see is
So
yeah,
so
and
it's
that
something
also says
elevated.
a
Yes.
height. That also
hmm
puts him in the height, and
hmm
and I would see that high as a spirit,
hmm
being in the height of a spirit, and and he's seeing this, but he's seeing it through the eyes of the spirit. That's what I'm seeing.
Mm,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Sister Collins?
Well, when I look at it, it seems like he's at peace, as they both have pointed out. The first picture, it looks like he's very pleasantly maybe dreaming about something. The second picture, he is seems to be at peace too. I don't know what the birds would indicate, but the only thing I would say is that he seems like a man that is in peace and possibly might be dreaming or seeing some kind of a closed vision.
There's something
Mhm.
else. Look at the car. The car
hmm
represents movement.
hmm
Also, the birds does too. There's is moving on a lower level, but there's movement on a higher level.
Okay.
hmm
So let me ask you a question because I'll tell you in a minute. And I got another picture below it. Um, does this look like that this is happening now, gonna happen, have already happened? Where do you think the state that this man is in when he's looking at this, when he's seeing this, or when this is
The,
happening in the picture?
the future, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, so how does look at everything in the picture now, everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
And in spite of there's even a basketball in the picture.
Yeah, I was looking at that just now. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you look at all that, I'm gonna go down here. Tell me what you
And look
see
at
here.
the flowers. Look how beautiful it is. Look, it tells you what season it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you see
Okay.
this, the trees are blooming, the flowers are
Yeah.
blooming.
Yeah,
They're in growth. The grass is so green, you know.
okay.
That's another thing. There's no brown grass there. That tells you something about brown grass.
But it also can be. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
No, I
ahead.
said it could be, like what Mama was saying too. Like he's seeing a dream and God is showing it to him. So this stuff could be futuristic. That because that's what most dreams are. Like it'll show you, and then so the second picture is like he sees it, and then but he sees everything that's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but
Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
So yeah,
that
sees
makes sense
everything
to
but
me.
that. Okay.
But look at his hand. Look at him while he's sleeping with on a partial side way with his hand to his head.
hmm
You see that? He's
Mm-hmm.
in
yes.
total relaxation. He's resting in whatever he's seeing.
Okay.
Total
It's
Okay.
like it's
relaxation.
something. So it's like the spirit when it shows you something. This thing it's just embedded in you. I mean, you
Mhm.
dream it, you sleep it. Every time when you up about your day, it's just there. It's just there. And maybe that's the place that God is trying to get them to. How wisdom
Okay.
goes to an end of a thing, right? It shows you
Yeah,
the end, like the car, right? I'm not saying
right.
that's material, but it can show you where God is trying to take you to, but then goes back and brings you all the way back, and then say, okay, now you got everything you need. Now walk it out. Because we have to work out our own salvation, right? With fear and trembling before the Lord, because everything you need is on the inside of you. Now get to the place that I showed you, so to speak.
Listen, you just brought somebody in my mind. You just did. Look at him. He's in picture number one. I'm going to call it number one with all the birds. He's
Mm-hmm.
in picture number two, but he disappears out of picture number three and out of picture number four. Look how many
Mm-hmm.
birds is in picture number one. Look
Mm-hmm.
what happens in picture number two. The
Mm-hmm.
birds are getting smaller. Look at it in picture number three. Now
Mm-hmm.
the car is 50% movement, but look what the birds doing. They're flying away.
Okay, now you just brought something else to my mind. Another scripture: "The grass withers and the flower faded, but the word of the Lord is
God
forever."
says
Right.
forever.
So you know, because man's life is four scores or whatever it says, four scores. But the grass withers, the flower faded, right?
Three scores and
But the
10.
word of the Lord is forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
and what you're saying, Mom, that is so on point because I mean, you don't no longer see him
Okay.
in the picture.
Okay.
No,
So I'm going to go down and show you another picture and you tell me what you see.
hmm And that looked like me. Only thing I ain't got no CPAP on. So these two pictures, I'm not. Maybe somebody else could start. It's still showing that it's a vision, like he's in a vision or something. He's
Well, well, before the bed is one thing. Look at the
hmm
bed. He's Lord. He was up in
hmm
the bed before. That's one thing.
That is true.
His
hmm
position has changed. He
That's
had
true.
a smirk on his face in the first films we saw, but he's laughter
hmm
now. Look like he's got the revelation now.
Uh-huh.
He's that what has been revealed to him. He sees it and he's enjoying what he's seeing now. You
Okay.
see him
Hold
in the
on.
Yes.
huh?
Okay. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. I'm going to go back. Okay. Tell me how both of these pictures relate to coming.
Mhm.
Tell
Yeah.
me how both of these
Mhm.
pictures would relate to coming.
Well, it's progressive. It's got a beginning
Mhm.
and it's moving him forward. The first one, we see how he went from one state to another state, and then he's not in that picture anymore. Now, when you get to the other one that you had, to pull it up just a little bit more, the other one that you had, okay, you see him in the same thing with two, but there's nothing else about the birds or the grass or just the flowers on the house up there. But it look that house looked like a bird house to me, because ain't nobody
Mhm.
house like that.
That's
Mhm.
true.
That looks like a birdhouse to me. And so he's look how the clouds then broke up. He got a breakthrough. See it?
Hmm.
All the
Yeah.
clouds then broke up. He on the pillow now.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So because I don't want to make, boy, we can just go on and on with this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, um, I will say this, um, that this is, and this is me. I put this in a program called, and Sister Collins might be aware of it because she's computer savvy. It's called Microsoft Designer. So I put my thoughts into words into this designer, and I told it what I wanted to produce for me. So I wanted it. So it is a dream. That's number one.
Mhm.
Okay. So it is a dream. And in the dream, you see birds. You see, you got that right. It was a birdhouse in both pictures. A birdhouse,
Mhm.
birds in both pictures, a birdhouse. You see a basketball.
Mhm.
You see a basketball there.
See,
And then
we
you
didn't see the
see it.
animals because you didn't pull it up far enough to see the animal.
That's a
Yeah. That a
bird.
cat. A
That's a,
cat. No, it's a cat.
Oh, that's a
no,
cat.
Oh,
Well, it looked like
oh,
he got
that's
a
a
bird.
bird. That's a
that's a
bird.
bird. That's a
Look at
Okay.
them.
bird.
Yes.
Oh, is
It's,
it?
it's a different kind of a bird because it's got a little
I'm
bird
sure it
tail
is.
there. It looked
Yeah,
like
It
a
that
has
is a
cat.
bird.
ears. It
I
has
didn't
That
tell it, I
ears.
didn't
does.
tell it to create this creature like this, but it did.
Yeah, it has
But
Yeah,
it
it
is,
ears.
is.
it could be, it may have been trying to form a hawk or something like that, but okay. So, and then in both pictures, you got a what? A car.
Car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And then
Okay.
there was a chair. There was an empty chair there in the first picture. First ones.
Yes. Okay. So, so in the picture, what I attempted to capture was number one, the onset or the entrance or the onset of vision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second thing I tried to capture was signs. So if it's a dream, then a dream, in order for you to see the end result or the manifestation of that dream or understanding and manifestation of that vision, as you're getting close to, because dream is prophecy, it's prophetic, as Collins said, as you're getting close to the manifestation of the outcome of this dream, there will be things materializing around you. So it will capture you because you've seen it mentally in your mind. God has given you a mental picture of it. And so with the mental picture, these signs will begin to materialize. The birds, you'll keep seeing birds. You'll see a bird house. You'll see basketballs. You'll start seeing chairs. You'll start seeing these things as you're progressing toward not truly understanding because behind everything we do or everything that God reveals to us, it's a mystery. Where now we were pulling at straws to try to understand it, so it's still concealed. But then when God opens up the revelation of it, it is revealed and the mystery is made known or the truth is made known. So the premise of our study in coming is no matter where you put it in the past, in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, in the future, coming, that meaning will not change, although it will be used. The mystery of it, the truth of it will not change, although you may use it from the Old Testament to the New Testament to the future. It still will bear the same mystical truth behind that word. So there is one truth in this picture that's got this man smiling,
I
and
see it. I
that
see
is
it.
he is about to receive a car. The only truth here,
But
he's
but look at
happy.
this, Tam. Can I cut you off
Uh-huh.
for just 1 minute?
Yep.
Back it, put it down some more. Down, down. Let me see the top of it. Okay, that's all I need to see right there. On that. See that bird right there with the purple bird on top of it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, now pull it up again. Pull it going to the second. Up there, going. Oh, look on the fence. Now, come on, come on, come on. Go back to the fence. Go back to the
Where's
fence.
the fence? Where
It's
fence?
it
Go
was
down, go down,
got to go down. Go
down,
down.
down, the other way.
Oh, down.
Mm-hmm.
Look
Uh-huh.
at the bird on the fence.
Uh-huh.
That
Uh-huh.
told me he was between two opinions. He's double-minded here. He's seeing it, but he's not understanding it. You see that on the fence?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see the bird on the
Yes.
fence.
But
That,
remember,
that
he's having a
you,
dream that he's having a dream that
he's
he's
having a
not
dream, but
creating it.
it's not
He's
clear to him yet.
it's
That
not clear to him. So he's
because
he's not creating it, he's just seeing it.
he's not creating it. No, it's not, but he's seeing it.
Right.
He's
Okay, so
seeing it.
he got to the dream got to be straightened up. Now pull it all the way back up where you was at the first one. No, yeah, where the first car was.
That's
Okay,
this one.
this one right here, the one in
Mm-hmm.
the, okay, down just a little bit where we see the bird. Down, you going up. Okay, see that bird? It's only one bird. There's nothing on the fence there. Nothing. Look how he's smiling. He's getting it. He's understanding it. That it's making much sense to him now. You see the dream. And when we say making sense to him, I'm saying that he is seeing the full picture. Because sometimes when we wake up out of dream, and that's me. When I wake up out of dream, I don't even know what they talking about. I don't even know because mine's so short. I dream something so short. That's like minutes, and I got to get up, and I don't dream in maybe 8, 10 months before I dream again. I never dream at night. Very seldom. Okay, pull it on up again. Pull it on up again. Okay, now you don't see any birds here, but one there's birds that's on the fence that we see the one on the fence. But I used the up and down one for there. But now he's over here where the car is. He is moving on now. The bird's moving on. The dream is over with. The vision has been given. He has seen it and it's all over with. That's it.
Okay. So I'm the creator to the vision for this dream here because I'm acting in the role of God. So I am giving you the indication here that it goes from this state to this state, still seeing birds to this state. Even though he's not in the picture, he sees a basketball, and then to this state. This is the outcome. This is the outcome. You know how this is and it's just for an example. So the outcome is the mystery. What is the mystery here? That God is going to open up a door for this man to get a car. But prior to that, sometimes you wake up out of it, or you're trying to interpret or trying to understand it, and you see the car. Sometimes you can interpret it, like Mom said, movement. Birds are considered movement and different things. So you're trying to see the understanding, but the signs keep coming to you day by day. Birds are all of a sudden illuminating before you. Then you start all of a sudden that you've been paying attention, all of a sudden you start seeing bird houses that are coming closer and closer to you. And then all of a sudden you're seeing kids everywhere with basketballs, just bouncing ball. And then so those are signs. So when you start off with the beginning of the dream, you move on to progressiveness of the dream. And then you end up with the end result of what is the truth that's happening with the dream. So in this one here, it shows that the man went from here, because see his gym shoes, he's a walker, to over here, he's now in the car driving it.
Right.
So,
But look at the
so he's
car.
not,
The car not
yes,
the same. That's not a luxury car. That's just a
right.
regular car.
Yeah, it just created two different kinds of cars when I put it in there. But this is so when it comes to
Hey,
coming,
Nora,
when it
on the trail,
comes
I'm
to
gonna call
there,
you when I get off.
there are
All right.
always
Mhm.
signs and different things that preceded. That's why when I had Sister Collins to go in and start talking about, I'm gonna let her talk about her thing, talking about in the Old Testament. The Old Testament represents the signs of things that would be progressively happening from the perspective of the Old Testament until we get to the manifestation of what
Mhm.
those things were. So the truth is, from the beginning, the seed from the beginning that would go into battle with the serpent seed, the end result is that there would be a material, that seed would manifest itself in human form and would bring down nations. Okay, and to bring salvation to all. So that's what happens from the Old Testament. So coming shows, and I'm gonna show you something else too. I'm gonna let Sister Collins give me one thing that you researched from the Old Testament.
Okay, yeah, turn it on for me so I can bring up my the sharing.
Okay.
Okay, so I started with this, the time between the Old Testament and the coming of the Christ child. What were the 400 years of silence? And the answer is the 400 years of silence refers to the time between the Old Testament and the New Testament, during which, far as we know, God did not speak, no scripture was written. The 400 years of silence, beginning with the warning that closed the Old Testament. Behold, I'm coming to send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and terrible day of the Lord. He will restore the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, so that I will not come and smite the land with a curse. Malachi, 4th chapter, 5 and 6 verses, and ended with the coming of John the Baptist and the Messiah forerunner. However, as I move forward, it's going to show you after they left Babylon, exile, when they were exiled, all the places they went, like Greece, Roman, eventually in Egypt, and Egypt brought them back to Canaan. And this is where now we're getting ready to come into the fact of, and after Canaan, we are moving up closer to the birth of the Christ child.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Very good. So she based it on the perspective of just about the sign is the onset between closing of the Old Testament, the coming of the New Testament, and the things that took place. There was no writings. God didn't speak. Nothing. No revelation was given. No anything was given, which then turned to transition because the next voice that would be speaking would be who? Jesus, the manifestation of Christ. All right. So in your so mom, in the definitions that you guys have had, give me one, um, give me some understanding of hold on. Based on the Old Testament, Sister Collins, what is your defined understanding of coming?
My understanding of coming is that we're preparing to receive and the coming of the Christ child. But before that, it takes you back to where the Jews were in captivity in Babylon, how they left shepherds and returned as merchants. We go through the Pedo-Persian Empire that ruled Israel, and the temple and the law of the priesthood of Aaron's line was restored. Now, I did not see when they disassembled or broke down but I think it's down further, when they broke down the line of priesthood. Um, Nevertheless, Malachi's warning was not without cause. The Jewish people were mistreating their wives, marrying pagans and not tithing, and the priests were neglecting the temple and not teaching the people the ways of God. In short, the Jews were not honoring God. And we saw that last week, how we honored him in the temple. We kept the fire going, the oil going 24 hours a day. You remember the gate where the people would come to be redeemed of their sins, and then where the priest would go in once a year. Now, I don't know what happened to the priests going in during that time, but at this time, Israel at 333 BC, Israel fell to the Greeks. And in 323 BC, it fell to the Egyptians. The Jews generally were treated well throughout those reigns, and they adopted the Greek language and many of the Greek customs and manners. And in Egypt, the Old Testament was translated into Greek. That translation, the Septuagint, came into widespread and is quoted frequently in the New Testament. And this is where the people who argue, or not argue, the people who inform us about how much the Greeks have had an influence on Christianity. Because when they were in Greece, remember, when they went to Greece, Father God's name was Yahuwah in Hebrew, and the Son's name would be Yahushua, the coming Christ. But when they went to Greece, Greece had another name, and it wasn't Jesus, it was Jesus or something. In Greek, they called the Savior, the coming Savior. But in English, it's called Jesus. The customs, you remember the Hebrews had their own set way of doing things. They were monotheistic and they only served one God. They got all of their revelations from that one God, the Father. They didn't mix with other customs. But when they got to Greece, they were encouraged to throw away some of their customs. And it was almost like a smorgasbord. You can decide how much of what you want to adapt. So the Hebrew culture was no longer a pure culture because they took on things from the Greeks. The Jewish law and the priesthood remained more or less intact until Antiochus, the great Syrian, captured Israel in 204 BC. He and his successors, Antiochus Epiphanes, persecuted the Jews and sold the priesthood. And in 171 BC, Epiphanes desecrated the Holy of Holies. The desecration resulted in an uprising by Judah and the Maccademus of the priestly line of Aaron. And in 165 BC, the Jews recaptured Jerusalem and cleansed the temple. Now, all of these people had been going in. They were not ordained people of Father Yahuwah. They were not trained to work in that. And the temple is not a place where you just go in haphazardly. You have strict rules as to what you're supposed to do that have been handed down to you from Yahuwah. So after they left, the Jews went back in and they cleaned up the temple. Rome and however, fighting continued between the Jews and the Syrians until the Romans gained control of Israel in 63 BC. Remember, we talked a long time ago, and I remember Sister Galloway was telling us that when some of the some of the Israelites returned from Babylon, or those were the tribe of Judah. They returned Judah and Benjamin. The other Israelites, wherever they are today, they never went back to Jerusalem. So today we say that they're the lost tribe, the 10 people that are out stumbling around. However, fighting continued between the Jews and the Syrians until the Romans gained control of Israel in 63 BC, at which time Pompey walked in the Holy of Holies, once again shocking and embittering the Jews. Remember, the Holies of Holies was not a place that you played with. It was the inner part of the where you went to serve Father, and only one person was able to do that, and that was that priest that had the string on him, that if he went in, they could pull him out. But they went into the temple and walked around. So this a descendant of Esau as prosecutor, which is the attorney of the Jews, and Antipater subsequently appointed two sons as kings over Galilee and Judea. As the New Testament opens, Antipater's son, Herod the Great, a descendant of Esau, was king. and the priesthood was politically motivated. Remember when we first started the priesthood, Father Yah told them Aaron's line was to do. He gave them strict instructions. I remember Brother Earl even put up the attire that they were to wear and what their priesthood garments would look like. He gave them strict attire to wear. But when Esau's descendant became king, the priesthood was politically motivated and not of the line of Aaron. The priesthood had always been of the line of Aaron. We've always called them the Levites. But policies also resulted in the development of two major factions, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And I remember some time ago, Sister Galloway brought out about the Sadducees and the Pharisees and how she described them. The Sadducees favored the liberal attitudes and practice of the Greeks. They held on to the Torah as regards religion, but like most aristocrats, they did not think God should have any part of governing the nation. And remember now, Yah's people had always depended on him totally for everything. But now the Sadducees are saying the Torah has its place. That's religion. But when it comes to politics, we keep God out of that. And I think even as we know today, we cannot keep Father out of anything that we're doing if we're doing things according to his will. They held to only the Torah as regards religion, but like most aristocrats, they did not think God had any part in governing the nation. The Pharisees were more conservative zealots who, with the help of the scribes, developed religious laws to the point where the concern and care of people were essentially meaningless. So we have two extremes. We have the Sadducees who are very liberal, and once again, I remember Sister Galloway pointing out they were liberal. They believed in certain morals and all of that, but it had nothing to do with not necessarily to do with Father and his belief. Now we have the Pharisees who come along with a whole list of laws, but they had no concerns with the care of the people. It was essentially meaningless. So additionally, synagogues, new place of worship and social activity has sprouted up in all over the country, and religious and civil matters were governed by the lesser and the greater Sanhedrins. The greater Sanhedrins being comprised of a chief priest and 70 other members that handed out justice, sometimes by 39 lashes, administered with full force. So we see here we have the coming of these two sets of people, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. The Sadducees seem to be more liberal, and they placed their beliefs upon what was logical, and they had certain morals they kept. The Pharisees were conservative and more strict, but they wrote a lot of laws that were not necessarily beneficial for the people or caring about the people. And if you look at the parties today, and I know this is not a political class, if you look at conservatism and you look at liberalism, you look at the far left and you look at the far right, they both are extremes, and they both have their parts of them that is demonic and it's not godly. So the Pharisees, where they claimed to be more concerned about the Torah and keeping the law, they really didn't care about the concerns and the needs of the people. When the Israelites fell under Greek rule, especially the Seleucid Empire, that was the Hellenistic period, they faced intense pressure to assimilate Greek culture, leading to deep social divisions between Hellenized Jews and traditionalists. Accumulating in the Maccabean revolt after King Antiochus IV, Epirus desecrated the temple and banned Jewish practice, sparkling a rebellion for religious freedom from ultimately succeeding. So the Greeks at that time was coming, they were in rule, and they wanted to bring the Hebrew people into their way of thinking. They wanted to take what the Hebrew people were doing and to restructure it and to mix it with a lot of things. Like you see today, even in the people who are calling themselves Jesus followers, many times they're taking the world and they're putting a little bit of this in it. And they're taking maybe some other new age and putting a little bit of that in it. But the true Hebrews had always been given their instructions from Yahuwah, and they minded or they were reminded to follow him and only his instructions. Hellenization and division, Greeks influence culture, language, religion, creating tension between Jews who embraced it, Hellenizers, and those who fiercely resisted, viewing Greek customs as offensive. So that was some of the Hebrews who found this offensive. They didn't want to mix up their culture, their language, and their religion because they have always served only the one true God, Yahuwah. But now the ones who the Hellenization period said, you can have it both ways. You can still keep some of the stuff that you do, you wrap your hair, whatever you want to do, but you can come over here and you can have like almost the best of two worlds like we see today. The temple desecration, Antiochus IV and Epiphanes sought to forcibly Hellenize the Jews, banning Judaism, plundering the Jews' temple, and turning it into a shrine for Greeks' gods. So they wanted to make this so we're going to ban you. You're over here with us. Now you're going to do it our way. But the Maccabean revolt, a priest, Matthias, and his son Maccabees sparked a guerrilla war against Greek rule after Matthews refused to sacrifice a Greek idol and killed a Jewish apostate and a Greek official. So the rededication of the temple, the rebellion led by Judas Maccabees eventually drove out the Greeks, leading to the rededication of the temple, commensurating by the festival of Hanukkah. In essence, Greek rule initially brought cultural changes, but ultimately triggered a French religious war, resulting in Jewish independence and the famous Hanukkah story. So if we look at what is going on here now, you've got a set of Jews that say, okay, we'll compromise. We'll take part of what you have going on here. We have the other set that says, no, we're going to keep it completely the way Yahuwah said it. So they're going to have trouble because anytime you're in the Greece land, you're a host there. So they expect for you to assimilate and do what they're doing. And some of the people have spoken about that, about the Somalis. The Somalis, according to what I've been watching on YouTube, they came over here on the TPS, temporarily protected status. But when they got over here, they tried to maintain totally what they believed in as Islam people, but they had no desire to assimilate or to become supportive of Americans, especially foundational Black Americans. So they kind of like had their own country over here in America. Same thing there. The Greeks wanted them to take on their culture, their religion, their foods, and there was a lot of things that the Hebrews had they couldn't even eat, and they couldn't do like other nations. But
Hold on, Sister Collins, let me stop you for just 1 second. Just one
okay,
second. So, I mean, you have laid out the foundation of what took place from, I mean, you killed it. Tell me, where do you see, when we talk about coming, we're only talking about Jesus. Where do you see Jesus in all of this and his where how do you see him traveling through the process of this journey to get him to the place where he's being revealed in all of this that you're talking about? Where's the story?
what
Where's Go ahead.
where I see the coming Yahushua is that he will come up into the law. He will be born under the law. He will obey the law. He will practice, but he will begin to follow more his father's instructions and edge a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, until we get to the point where he gets his own disciples, and then he is crucified, and he is our last oh Lord, you know what we do when they call them Passover. So he had to go up under the law. He had to do what the law said do. He obeyed the law outwardly, but still he had a connection with his father in heaven. And he was able to just walk a little bit more until he got to the point where he was ready. Like he washed his disciples' feet that night, he had the Last Supper. He walked to the point where he was ready to be offered up as our last sacrifice. And when he was offered up as our last sacrifice, when he was killed and he died on the cross, that brought us into a space then where salvation could be for all, not just keeping the law, not just doing what Hebrews normally do. We are now at a point where each person individually can have salvation for him or herself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Good. So
So
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I have a couple of more paragraphs, or did you want to go another way?
Okay, go ahead.
What did the Greeks do to the Israelites? During their rule over Israelites, they shared much of the Hellenistic culture and beliefs with them, but they generally respected the Israelites. Unlike other empires, the Greek Empire was tolerant of Judaism, the religion of the Israelites. But the Ashkenazis Jews, those Jews, some of them over there now, that people believe that they are of Judah, allegedly, according to history, they are not the originals. They are not the tribe of Judah. They are people who sent for a rabbi to teach them Jewish customs, but they were not born in that line of David. Now it says the Ashkenazis Jews is approximately 50% Levantine, MENA, 40% Greek Italian, 10% other. So however much Ashkenazis Jewish you are, if you broke it down, it would be similar to this. The reason Ashkenazis Jews are genetically similar to Greeks, Italians, Ireland, and is because they are also a Levantine MENA, Southeast Med mix. So when we look at the Jews over there, the ones that are the Zionists or the Ashkenazites, they are just another set of people that society calls white people who allegedly brought the rabbi to teach them the ways of Jewish customs, and they claimed Isaac's birthright for themselves. But they are not the original Hebrews, because the original Hebrews came down through, Jews, they came down through the line of Judah. And we all here know that line of Judah. We also know David, and we know our Savior, Yahushua. So the Israelites in Egypt, what happened to them in Egypt? They went to Egypt primarily due to a famine in Canaan, followed by Joseph's rise to power there, settling in the fertile Nile Delta region, Goshen, for food and pasture, but later faced enslavement before Moses led their exodus back to Canaan. According to the Bible and historical accounts, while Bible traditions link their entry to Jacob's family fleeing famine, modern scholarship suggests the Israelites likely developed from the Canaanites group with some elements of the Exodus story, possibly rooted in an historical migration and Egyptian interaction. Now we understand how Joseph got there. We understand too that Joseph was the favorite son of Jacob or Israel. We also understand how he sent and got his dad, his brothers, and all of their families. I'm not sure if it was 300 or what, and they came to the Egypt, and they stayed there and they migrated. I'm thinking, and I have no proof of this, that they did not interracially marry. even though they looked probably like the other Egyptians, they were all dark-skinned people, as we call them black, as they call us black today. But they stayed within themselves, because you remember when Yahushua was 2 years old, and they went to Egypt to hide him. If he had been a white Jesus, you can't hide a white Jesus in a black continent, because he would stand out. So when they got back to Egypt, when they left Egypt and they went to the Canaan land, this is where my teaching stops off. But up until that up at this point, I think everybody else knows how they led right on into the New Testament, and how the New Testament led us on into where Yahushua was no longer having us to follow a written set of rules, but his father, Yahuwah, wrote the rules on our hearts. And we know, according to the scripture, 10 commandments, and they're all pinned and hinged on two scriptures. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and to love your neighbor as yourself. So this is where I stop.
All right, thank you. I know it's late. Jay had to drop off. Oh, Jay, you still there? I thought you had to go. Jay, you can drop.
Go. I have to go. I heard you.
Okay,
All right.
all right, go ahead. Yeah,
Have a
go
good
ahead.
day.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye bye.
Love you
Love you
too.
too. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Tim, back to you.